Very glad to have you aboard today with me. Make sure the phone is off, okay. And yeah, once again, welcome everyone who is not part of the club, and for the guys from the club, also welcome. How was your week, guys? Mine personally not the best, but we gotta get up and dust off and continue, right? Hello, Elena. All right, so what do we do here? First of all, my name is Yordan. Hey, money. My name is Yordan. I am one of the traders in the Traders Academy Club, guys. And just 1 second. There we go. In these Friday sessions, we are showing basically a summary of our ideas during the week and what we're trading, how we're trading it, our trading principles and all that. Basically to show you and give you an idea of what's happening in the Traders Academy Club. Now, there were many questions about the performance of the strategies. Yes, we're aware of that. There is a technical issue. So basically everything was hosted in the same place. That's why all of the strategies are not showing the results anymore. Unfortunately, everyone is working on that, guys. Once we have some updates, okay, you'll know about it. But until then, please, patience. So this is basically, now back to trading part, this is basically how our report looks like. You have a video how to trade it and how to understand all of that, something like an introduction. You have the webinars, basically educational materials, which will help you understand further our methods. And then you have the watch list. That table is maybe the most important thing that you need to focus on, of course, along with the comments below. And now let's see what we have. We're starting alphabetically with Aussie Kiwi. Now, Aussie Kiwi, we're trading here the long-term cycles, and that's the weekly chart here, guys. Okay, we were at the bottom. That bottom also provided this cycle here came with the divergence and double bottom, and ever since this breakout we said we're looking for buys. In the shorter term, we have this fantastic move which is more or less starting to lose the momentum. We said that we want to see pullbacks now because of all this bearish pressure, and once we get the pullbacks we want to focus on the buys once again. Basically this is the daily trend line. So Aussie Kiwi, one of the best providers at the moment. This is the move that we were expecting. I would love actually to see a bit more from that, not just this candle. So something that would be reminding double wave ABCD or so. That was actually a nice flag forming here, which was more or less invalidated at the moment, but overall the idea remains the same. We're looking for most likely one more push lower, get near good levels, and we can do that by drawing them manually. So we have nice levels around this zone here, and as you can see, this is also the trend line, and so on and so forth. So basically, as long as this short-term trend line is holding, we continue looking for the buys. If this trend line is broken, it doesn't mean we're invalidating the longer-term cycle. It just means we're probably going for deeper correction, and then we need to reanalyze it and see how we're going to do it, right? That's the whole idea. Money, what do you mean divergence course price? It's on the website if you're referring to the Divergence University. That's really not the place to discuss those things, so either check out the website or contact us, me, Vlad, support team. It's just not the place, sorry. All right, so that's about Aussie Kiwi. Then we have Aussie dollar, which we really don't have anything to update here, guys. We've been stuck inside this tiny range the entire week. The idea is very simple. We're looking for continuation lower, and the levels we want to see reached, first of all, the 61.8, which is around the top, or getting one more push higher, basically creating here an ABCD around the 100 zone, and then the continuation lower. Both scenarios still applicable. We just need to wait, be patient, and see which one is going to be triggered. So Aussie dollar, really nothing interesting for us to mention this week. CAD franc, on the other hand, is much more interesting. We're trading inside the weekly channel. This is how the daily looks like. In my opinion, we're going to see that. In Vladimir's opinion, we're also going to see that. So basically, both analyses are matching, both analyses are fitting together. So on the 4-hour chart, this is where we want to see the actual, well, the action, right? He's treating that as a double wave, which is pretty much the same idea as mine. My idea here is about the price and the structure of this price, which is basically this one. Okay, so we have some sort of consolidation, and bottom line is that's the zone where we want to be looking at the sells. Now, one thing we need to mention here is that the 4-hour chart divergence on DMAs was broken, but you know the rules on divergences on the given time frame where the thing is happening, so that's not an issue. Lower time frames, the 1-hour chart specifically managed to provide the divergence right here. That's the conservative entry according to my trading methods and strategies. We also have a trend line on the way. This is an inner trend line inside the big consolidation pattern, and basically many ways to enter, guys. We have aggressive entries, conservative entries, mid-aggressive entries, if that would be correct to be said, and so on and so forth. The idea is that once we get, if of course we get this setup running to the downside, we have a fantastic risk-reward ratio towards the bottom. And that's not all. We also expect the price to push lower and create one more leg here. That means that would be the zone approximately for the final target. If that would be the final target, imagine the risk-reward ratio from here down to here with stop loss like this. Those are the trades that could really make your entire month's profit or your entire year's profit, for example. We just need to be patient and let the market do its thing. And that's basically the idea. CAD franc, one of the hottest opportunities in my opinion. Basically, many of the pairs we're following are currently inside these consolidation zones, and that means nasty moves. Most of the people are going to lose money during these periods, so patience, that's all. Just be patient, wait for the good levels to be reached, and then attack it. Cool. Next one, Euro CAD. Now this one we also discussed yesterday. It is in Vlad's ideas and the report. And the idea here, guys, actually, let's go over weekly. We have two levels here, this one and that one. Daily chart, hidden divergence, which is suggesting bearish continuation lower. 4-hour chart, hidden divergence, but that hidden divergence, in my opinion, is already invalidated as we got this bullish divergence here. Basically, the two opinions that I'm going to share with you are those. We're looking for sells in the long term, and this is where I agree. The part I don't really agree on is the current market situation, and the reason is this zone. This is a critical zone, and we need to see the price positioning itself below that critical zone. As it starts to look, we might be getting there because we're moving towards the bottom and probably breaking out of it. The other thing I don't like here is that we have impulsive move to the upside. We don't have a lower low created after this impulsive move, and we don't have a corrective structure at that stage. Furthermore, there was a double bottom with this divergence, which means break above this level is very likely going to push the price upwards. And currently, at that stage, if we don't get something like that, in my opinion, selling here is aggressive. The least part which you should be focusing on is the most recent divergence, which is bullish one. And that means bullish pressure. And that means we're right inside this zone. Okay, so overall, I would agree on the sells as well, because this is the weekly chart, and the weekly chart does not agree, but it is showing bearish continuation. But nothing is stopping us from creating something like that, right? Two waves up and then continuation lower. Can we fit it here? Yes, we can. That's basically the idea. And by the way, if this happens, that would be even better for the sales, because then we have much bigger risk reward ratio. Then we have another amazing zone right here based on that, and boom. So let's see. Long-term sales, totally agree, but short-term, if we get the breakout, that could be pushing the price upwards. Otherwise, I would like to see the price going away, creating the momentum to the downside, because this doesn't look like a sell to me. Price action only, alone. That's about EUR/CAD. Two ideas here, two different views. So make the conclusions for yourself based on your strategies, your understanding, and pull the trigger as you find it suitable. Okay. Euro-yen, long-term continuation lower. That's fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Problem is, on the lower time frames, we really don't get anything. And by not getting anything, I mean, look at it. That's the last week. So can't update anything here. It's just sleeping, consolidating. Once we get the breakouts, or at least push up, get to this zone, provide us with some kind of sell signals, not like this. Okay, that was a straight move. We need to see normal, regular moves that will provide us with the sell opportunities. Then we can sell the aggressive one also, expecting the breakout with good risk rewards. But until then, no breakouts, no top of the range, we can't do anything here. So no need to waste any more time on that. Next on the list is Euro-Kiwi, and this is also one of the hottest opportunities in my opinion, because in such ugly market conditions, Euro-Kiwi at least is starting to provide the moves. This is the weekly cycle, the count 3+2, expecting continuation higher. Daily chart, very strong bullish move here, impulsive move, guys. price positioning itself above this high. For me, this is critical, okay? And then we start getting this consolidation zone, and our expectation is to look for the buys. How do we do that? We drop to the lower time frames, and this is what we get, looking for continuation upwards. Now, I will be a bit more specific in my analysis, and I will allow myself to show this pattern here. And as we discussed during the week, that was the critical zone that we want to see broken. That zone was broken yesterday. And we said that we need to see this zone holding in order for the bullish continuation to happen. At that stage, I don't see anything wrong with this setup. For me, this remains bullish. Possible targets on the way should be checked, in my opinion, either with Fibo levels, if you know how to use the Fibos, or you're using Elliott waves, or if you don't know any of these theories, just go ahead and use levels, guys. This level, important one, okay? Then you go upwards and you do the same on the way up, okay? And you basically draw the levels. And when you go to weekly chart, you can see that we have this and that. So very, very good possibility for us to go ahead and reach there. We just need to see how the price is going to react around this zone, whether we're going to get the breakout or we're going to be stuck here, because if we have a look, we might start looking at head and shoulders, okay? And this is suspiciously close to the previous zone. Even if it's not head and shoulders, it is a very strong critical level. So it doesn't matter how we spin it, we need to pay attention to those things. That's why we're doing multi-time frame analysis, to see basically any angle we're able to identify and spot and include it into our analysis. All right, Euro-dollar is the next one, which is also kind of boring. After the next attempt to continue higher, it failed. It just started pushing lower. The expectation is now to see one more push lower, and the only thing we need to pay attention to here is the risk-reward ratio. Okay, short-term sales from the top of this range intraday could be something interesting, because then the risk-reward ratio towards the bottom is acceptable. However, breakouts of this zone towards here as first target may not be making a lot of sense. So the point here is, just because we have it in our analysis and we would like to see and forecast where this price is going, it doesn't mean it's the best setup or really suitable setup for trading. Okay, we follow up on this because there could be people who are already involved in different places. But if this is not suitable for you or based on your risk and money management to trade it, just don't trade it, guys. Okay, if you have it on the report, it doesn't mean go ahead and buy, sell immediately. This is what we see on daily chart. This is the big pattern here where the price is moving. So that low could be broken, and that's the extreme zone here. Okay. $61.8, just few pips below the low. And then if this is broken, you can see that the trend line is not really fitting with the 100%. That means two things. We're going to get something like that, or false breaks of this zone, getting as closer as possible to the 100%, and then the reversal. Basically cleaning the stops trying to suggest breakout to the downside and then spiking up. This divergence is still holding, which puts the bullish pressure once again on the table. Pound CAD. Pound CAD completed this cycle, and this is where we're looking for bullish momentum. Okay, at least in the short term, we want to see bullish moves to the upside. On the lower time frames, the pair created this impulsive moves here, and we said after retracements, okay, after the pullbacks, you want to see the continuation higher. We did see continuation higher, guys, but in my opinion, that was not tradable. Why? Because technically speaking, this is the 5-leg structure. This is where we want to be looking at pullbacks. And the way it started moving is 1 leg lower. That definitely doesn't look like a reversal pattern, nor is providing us a reversal entries. And then it just broke above this flag. So yes, it was accurate in terms of we look for continuations, but I don't think it was tradable. If you did trade it somehow, well done, very well done. I simply couldn't find an entry. Furthermore, if we take this as a range, false break and false break, once again we have nothing providing us the entry right here. It was just 1 leg lower, and then on the 15-minute or 1-hour chart, we've got nothing here. Okay, the only thing that could be somehow treated as an entry is this divergence on RSI alone with this breakout. But again, would you consider this a bullish move? I don't see it this way. This is the impulse, this is the correction, this is the continuation. And that was, by the way, the plan during the week, which failed. The short-term plan from my ideas from yesterday, we were discussing this exact possibility, and then the buys. Unfortunately, it was stopped out and probably just created the next push higher. The next thing we can say about this one is it's holding the trend line very, very clearly, which is good for us. It's respecting it like the majority of the pounds, by the way, on this bullish move. Guys, can you hear me? Do you have issues with the sound? If I will, maybe it was the internet. I don't know. All right. Thank you. So basically, that's the idea. We continue looking for these bullish continuations, guys. Okay, this move requires its correction. So that's basically what we're looking for, right? And that cycle was completed, and we got the false breaks, and we got the divergences, and also so far looks good. Okay, the next one, pound CAD, pound franc, pretty much same story, right? We're looking at this. That could be probably treated as some sort of head and shoulders as well. Divergence started from here. The MA divergence was given on the next one, and we said we're looking for continuation upwards once again. So the way I was treating that is on this part, leg number 4 as a flag. The flag managed to give us the entry right here. I think it was M15 at the bottom plus. Let me just update it slightly here. So that's the trend line as we see it at that stage, right, in this moment. Then on M15, as we know, we're expecting it to continue moving in this thing. Projection of the top line comes here. And as we can see, it was reached, false broken, divergence formed, breakout, price is going back above the main trend, closing above, creating the momentum and the impulse. And this is what I was suggesting in pound CAD. Look at this move, guys. This move is telling you, okay, we're probably reversing and we're starting to move. It has money behind it. And when you see this kind of breakout, let's say you have a high here, and this is the move that breaks above it, it's not very convincing, right? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. This one, on the other hand, looks like an impulse, and it is impulse. So breakout, and this is where we said the first entry was triggered and delivered. Then we broke above the flag on this part. I'm not sure if you're trading the spikes, breakouts, or closing, but they were all be triggered. And boom, we got the move afterwards. So pound franc delivered nicely. Now I need to update the trend line a bit. So same story here, looking for the continuation upwards. Of course, we want to see pullbacks and more to the upside. 1 hour chart is already showing bullish momentum, so not momentum, sorry, hidden divergence, bullish pressure. That's what I meant. Pound Kiwi, absolutely the same idea. It remains bullish. This is the cycle 3+2 with bullish divergence ending in double bottom. On the daily chart, that's what we got in order to confirm the reversal. Ever since, we've been waiting and looking for pullbacks that we can buy. And one way to do that is by trading the trend line to the upside. The other way is to match multiple levels, which is horizontal plus horizontal levels plus the dynamic levels. And once you reach to such zone, which is double confirmed zone, you start looking for the entries. Either way, pound Kiwi also on the list for buys and paying. And another thing we need to mention, guys, is if we have 3 or 4 or 5 pounds on the list, including the euro pound and so on, don't trade them all, okay? Or if you're going to trade them all and you have, I don't know, let's say 1% risk in total, and you trade 3 pairs related to the pound sterling, then you switch your risk management to something like that, right? Because then when you multiply it by 3, you get approximately this amount of risk. You don't want to expose yourself to one currency on different pairs because they're strongly correlated, and chances of winning or losing all of them simultaneously is big. I know this is very basic stuff, but I'm sure it could be helpful to some of the participants today. So pound Kiwi also looking for the bullish part. Cable is the one which should most likely now start providing the deeper pullbacks. We're again looking for the sells here based on the levels and cycles, and this is one such very good level. Okay, the issue I have with cable is that we don't have, and I see that based on the report, what also doesn't have the confirmation for this reversal, which means once again we're looking for pullbacks that we can sell later on. Problem is the buys here, at least in my opinion, are not very adequate, are not very clear, and the setups are not there. So if you find yourself a setup, go ahead and trade it, but I think we have other pound pairs that look much better in terms of setups that we can go ahead and trade. So this is where the divergence happened. We've been talking about that divergence. If it will be broken, it means a lot, and it was broken, guys. And right after that, immediately, actually on the same bar, this bar, we got the breakout above creating the convergence. So this is where we can say, okay, pullbacks and pushes upwards are very, very likely to happen. As with the rest, we have the hidden divergence already in place, but I think we still have room here as well to the upside, so no rush with the sales. Kiwi is providing amazing pushes lower, and on the weekly chart we can already see that the pair is clearing that zone, trying to break the last divergence here, and that bearish momentum looks very, very, very strong, guys. Okay, so our idea is sell, sell, sell. The only issue I have with this pair is it's one straight leg to the downside, and this kind of price action I don't like, I don't trade. This is not really tradable for me. If you're trading it, well done, it's paying, but I'm simply looking for something more, I don't know, clear and obvious when it comes to price action. This is not the case. Either way, Kiwi bearish. Then the last one on the list for the Forex is dollar yen. Daily doesn't open. We're going to cover it now, but basically the idea is to look for sales. Why are we looking for the sales? Simple, guys. Just remove those. We have the big range from weekly chart, and this is the inner part here, right? So that zone we want to see being tested. Daily chart, no divergence, is nothing against us, and on the 4-hour chart we want to see that zone holding here, which could be also measured with the Fibos, and we can see that the 61.80, the 100 levels are right there. However, as we have multiple levels confirming that zone, I would like to see the 61 in that case holding, namely that zone, not the 100 zone. If we get to the 100, I need to reconsider it and see if the sales would still make sense, but basically the idea is that. Okay, sell the top. Again, nothing really happened. I mean, look at it, it's 30 candles, a flat move. So the idea remains the same. We just need to be patient and well, see if it will be delivered. Then we go to Bitcoin, which was not included in the report, but basically the idea here was very simple. Since the price was holding and respecting that flag and it pushed lower, it broke it, we said we were probably going to get attempts for continuation. That was one such good opportunity, in my opinion, right here with the breakouts to look for the sell. So this one also paid, and in the bit longer term, the expectation is to get the price lower. We have multiple levels, and then very likely we're going to see the continuation. That was very quickly the crypto. Where is this one? Okay, DAX. DAX, we're looking for another leg lower, okay, and this is the cycle. So the only thing I would not agree here with Vlad and his plan is the possibility of forming something like that. Now this is ugly head and shoulders and probably not entirely correct, because that shoulder is much lower than the previous one, but critical level, and if that level is broken, there is a good chance we're going to get convergence here. Okay, we don't want to see that. If this level is broken, we want to see the inequality, basically the divergence, to be there as well, to sustain the bearish momentum, right? Why? Because yes, technically speaking, this is a impulsive move. Okay, this is an impulsive move, but we might be getting stronger pullbacks before the next continuation lower. That's the only thing here. So let's see the live chart right here. This is the high we've been talking about. Okay, so basically two options. Currently this one already starts to look very interesting. The bearish candle, a few candles afterwards which are holding. Let's see how it will play out. Natural gas, we're looking for the continuation higher, and this one really didn't change much since last week. If you remember, we were talking about, just do it correct here, the breakout of this trend line, and we said that this is not very impulsive move, right? It doesn't look like money is behind it. That's why we said we want to see the break to be more on the conservative side, the break above this high. And as you can see, it's either consolidating and gaining the momentum for the next move, or it will just stop and push lower. Either way, I would like to wait before I pull the trigger here and just do it a bit more conservatively. Adidas going well. We're looking for the sell. The first part was already, the first part basically paid, right? Now the hidden divergence is in play from the top, this one. So we need to confirm that and look for the next sales. Then we have buyer, which is a new addition to the list since this week, I believe. And here we have the big one and then the small one, which is the second leg of the monthly, namely the weekly special cycle. The divergence is in place, which is good. And on the 1 hour chart, we got another divergence and now break of this divergence middle point right there. Okay, the convergence part is a bit tricky as we don't have convergence here, but on the other hand we do have again something that reminds head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, and we got the breakout. So in my opinion the risk here is definitely worth it, and the idea is to look for buys. Don't have the live chart, but it didn't change that much. Yes, Isabella, I know sometimes we have issues with that once it's compiled because it comes from MT4, but on the next one it will be fixed. So ladies and gentlemen, that would be all for this week. We had some amazing calls, pound related and pound crosses are moving, including euro pound, which is not on this report. We've been discussing it in my live rooms for this move right here. This one also paid very nice. So again, just don't overexpose yourself. Now we should be looking at pullbacks and again continuations lower. Money, I have nothing, my friend, on oil. I'm still looking for this zone to sell it, but that zone was never reached. We're currently trading inside here. I don't know what to do with that. I'm not trading it. Same with gold and silver. We started getting stuck in this zone and we just remain there for days now. Could that be some sort of consolidation? Definitely yes. overall, the long-term plan is to look for buys. Okay, we want to look buys to do and long it. Question is whether we're going to get deeper pullbacks and continuations, or we're going to break out of this zone to the upside immediately. And for that, we need to wait. You're welcome. All right, so let's call it a week, guys. Wishing you a fantastic weekend. And of course, I'll see you next week. Bye for now. You're welcome.